in the last class, then continue with today's lessons with you. Let me see. So if you have your questions, please drop it in the chat and we'll make sure to answer your questions. Yeah, Mr. Michael, you can have the floor now.
Okay. You need to allow me share my screen.
Screen. Okay. Okay. Mm. I did actually try making you a co-organizer. I'm yet to have that sorted. But let me quickly do that now. Okay, so you should be able to share your screen now. And then,
Okay.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this today's session. Um, so just a quick recap. Um, because when you are taking certain exams like M365 administrator exams, I think, or the SC 900, MX 900, MX 100, and questions might come from what is the okay, at what point do you need a license for? I'm just trying to do a recap on mailboxes. At what point do you need a license for shared mailbox, and at what point you do not need a license for shared mailbox? But one of the things that should come to your mind, regardless of sorry, just give me- regardless of whatever it is you're doing, is mailbox size. So majorly, shared mailbox is determined by two things. If you need to sign into shared mailbox, you need a license. Remember in the last class we discussed that you do not need a license and for a shared mailbox, but if you need at any point you need to sign in without using another person's mailbox or a user mailbox, you need to assign a license. Also, you need to assign a license to a shared mailbox if the mailbox size exceed 50 gig. So if the mailbox size exceed 50 gig, so I'll show you from my screen. So if you see a default mailbox size of a shared mailbox created is 50 gig. So if you need a mailbox size, if once your mailbox size exceeds 50 gig, at that point, for you to continue using that shared mailbox, you need to assign a license, or is either you assign an exchange online plan 2 that comes with 100 gig, or you do a standalone archive license so that you can create an archive mailbox for the shared mailbox. Do you guys understand? So those are the major differences between a user mailbox and a shared mailbox, aside the functions. So if they ask you at what point do you need a license for a shared mailbox, these are the conditions. When the mailbox is more than 50 gig, you need a license. When you need to sign in to that shared mailbox directly without using any of the delegate accounts, you need a license. So thank you. We also want to user mailboxes, and for user mailbox, you understand that for a user mailbox to function, you need a license, and not just a license that has an exchange online license. We also discuss before we move to the cloud. Uh, Before we move to the cloud, we have exchange server where you manually determine the mailbox size of user mailbox in your organizations. And the disadvantage is the ability to manage it when users exceed uh, the mailbox size. And one of the major challenge here is the fact that between the Exchange server and the Exchange Online is during migration. Imagine when you are trying to migrate a user mailbox that is 200 gig, and then however the default mailbox size, the okay, the font, sorry. So the default mailbox size is 100 gig and 50 gig. So when you are trying to migrate, that will be difficult. That will be difficult because you now have to start breaking the Exchange server user into chunks, maybe into different PST, then you export and all of that. So sorry, then you import. So we also discuss about groups, M365 groups, where you can use to communicate in an organization, do all communication page and all of that. We discussed distribution list and we also did a test. This is where you can use to distribute emails to multiple users. And I mentioned that distribution list does not have a mailbox or a mailbox size, or you understand, it doesn't hold your emails, it distributes. We use the case study of a post office where you drop your letter, they take the letter and take it to the recipient. You are the sender, but the post office is the middle person. It doesn't keep a copy of your, because it is not possible, it doesn't keep a copy of your of whatever you are sending to the recipient. It just takes it and deliver the message directly. We discuss about dynamic distribution list. This is you creating a list that allows you to, once you create users and users meet um, a specific condition, they are automatically added to the dynamic distribution list. So you can create a dynamic distribution list based on the contact information of users. Maybe there's a department or there's a job title or there is something specific to this group of users. You understand? That is dynamic distribution list. We discuss about that. Mail enabled security. This is the kind of group you create um, for users to have certain roles in your organization. Maybe you want users to be able to manage some groups. So we call them mail enabled security groups. You can use it, it is used to send emails. Also it is used to assign, important, to assign permissions and roles. That is why we call it mail enabled security groups. So I think I gave an assignment. Yes, we also discussed room resource and equipment resource. And if I remember clearly, I asked us to do certain things. Oh, regarding mail room, sorry, room resource and equipment resource. I'm trying to,
You asked a question, sir. That's it.
yeah, yes. So just give me a moment. Let me log into my test environment. So based on last week conversation, do you guys have any question?
Yes, I can have a question. Good
Okay,
morning.
we can just ask a question while I try to sign in.
The question is just based on email security group and distribution, dynamic distribution list. Now, I have my own tenant which I created, and I have some users. So I noticed that when I sent a mail, like you said, there's no copy, there's no mailboxes for dynamic list or distribution list. So I sent a mail. I have a group owner. I noticed that I sent from the group owner to the members the of the group. They all get the email. But if I reply to one of the members, the owner doesn't get the email. So let's see if I just reply back to the owner from where the message is coming. The owner doesn't get it, the other members of the group get it.
That means we need to confirm. We need to confirm how you created a dynamic distribution list.
Okay.
How you created the dynamic distribution list is very, very important. Just give me a moment. I don't know why this password is not working. Guys, just a moment, please. I'm trying to too many passwords. Guys, sorry. I just need to quickly log into the test environment so that I can. Okay, thank you. Okay. So let's quickly do, let me check if you have any dynamic distribution list, and then we can do a test quickly before we proceed.
Thank you.
Okay. Mm, So let me take this. Also, you need to also understand that your group privacy also determines who send emails to that group. So we have a lot of dynamic distribution groups already. Let me just check the properties of one so that we can move on from there. Not really. Okay, let me create a group. Dynamic distribution group. So we'll walk through this together. I need to. Hello, good morning. Uh, are you speaking? Someone is saying good morning. Okay. Can you mute your mic, please? So I'm trying to look for a specific properties we can use. Let me see if we have departments. Oh, departments. Okay. Let me see groups. Okay. DF Tech, HR management. Okay. So let's see. ST exchange. Department. So this is where so this is where you need to let me make myself this is where you need to understand how dynamics how dynamic distribution groups work. So the moment you select, for instance, all recipient, or it's almost the same thing as distribution list. So these are the conditions that determine if you do not have any condition, so it won't function based on it being a dynamic. The word dynamic is to say this is a special kind of distribution list. So what do you want to do if is all recipients want this to reflect on? Then we need to select the condition. So look at the condition. You can also create other custom attributes. Company, you see, when I was checking the user admin portal, that is the MXToolBox admin portal, I was checking the user if state was specified, if company was specified, if department was specified. But we have other custom attribute that we can create for ourselves for these users to be automatically added. In some scenarios, if we go into this, kindly raise up your hand so that I can see who. Just raise up your hand. I will just create a department. Let me create a department. So let me see if I can create a department for everyone there. Okay, for students. Let me just add contact information. And then state Lagos. So I'll just do this for few, and then you see how it works. Instead of me to manually assign these users to the distribution list like we did to the deal, these users will be added automatically based on the conditions. So department is student, state Lagos. So let me see. Let me do for Oluwafemi Jawo. Oluwafemi. Oluwafemi, I can't find your name here. I can see Adibanjo Adeleke. Oh, let me just select it. Student Lagos. Okay, we can do a test with this. So here I can select state and enter the Lagos, and I can also add another rule, select department and enter students. You can select as much rules depending on how you want the group to be created. So once I click on next, so T part. So this will automatically come through your organization and add the users. So let me quickly take you guys back. See, T department is created but isn't ready to use the group. We are still preparing it for use until you send a message to this group. So did you get this message when you created? This is for the person asking the question. I was not checking my screen when you asked. So so you can see that when we created a deal, when we created a deal, there was an option that says add users to the deal. Here, there's no option. So if I close this and go back and check for this group under dynamic here, I should have members added automatically. Okay, Rafia will check your concern, Oluwafemi, and get back to you. Thank you. So if I check members, see, view all members, that is still like we got the message that says it is still preparing. So once that is done, I should be able to see the list of the members that fit into this condition: state, Lagos, department, students. And you can see this is graded out. So members will only be added to a dynamic distribution list based on the conditions or the rules created. Guys, are we clear? So do you understand now? So for a DL, a direct dynamic distribution list, you add members yourself, depending on who you want or the functions of that distribution list. But for dynamic distribution list, the set of rules or conditions used in creating that dynamic distribution list will determine the members of the dynamic distribution list as seen on my screen. Guys, are we clear? Can we proceed? Because this might take some time. As Microsoft has mentioned that it might take 2 hours, so we can check this, and when you reproduce this scenario on your end, this is what you get. So what is the difference between dynamic distribution list and distribution list? Distribution list, you add the users yourself, and it's depending, you can create it as much as you want. You add the users, you remove the users, you can give people members owner rule for them to add and remove users. For a dynamic distribution list, it is guided by the set of rules added to that group at the point of creation. So when you are creating it and you say so members or people in this department should be automatically added to this deal, those are they will be added to the deal automatically, as long as any users you create in your tenant meet the requirement of those rules. They will be added to your dynamic distribution list. So thank you, guys. So that is just a recap of mailboxes and group. So let's proceed. Uh, Ebuka, Emeka, do you want to say something? Ebuka. Okay. So the function of a room resource, like I explained the other day, I'm just doing a recap again for us to understand better. Room resource is like having multiple conference rooms, and you want to manage the availability of these rooms without anyone coming to meet you. Oh, if you are a facility manager, a good example that came to my head. If you are a facility manager and you have various boardrooms and you want to seamlessly, that is the word, manage how these rooms are being utilized without conflict, this is where a room resource come to play. This is where a room resource come to play. For an equipment resource, if you are, for instance, you are an event planner and you want you have different videographers, but they don't have cameras. Let's put it that way. And you have many cameras, and you want to utilize and manage how these cameras are being used by your employees, the videographer. This is where equipment resource come to play. So whenever you remember the word equipment, they are your tools you need. You have various tools, you want to assign it to specific users, or specific users are using it, and you want to have an oversight of who is using what at a particular time. You understand? Instead of you doing a manual process, this is where equipment room come to play. So as you can see on the resource room, on the resource information here, room mailboxes are assigned to physical locations. Like I said, your event center, your offices, boardroom, conference room, such as conference room or auditorium. So after you create, users can reserve rooms by including them in meeting requests. So I'll do a quick one. We have interview room, interview center, meeting room. I don't want to create anyone so that we won't create a mess here. So let me go to my apps. And then go to Teams. Mind you, we can also do a Teams invite on Outlook. We can do a Teams invite on Teams. You understand? So please, invite or booking a room is not limited to Teams alone. You can create your invite in Outlook. I'm sure everyone working officially, doing a 9 to 5 that uses M365, I'm sure you guys create meeting. So that shouldn't be a biggie. So we are trying to book a room resource. I can come to my calendar. So just have someone. So I'm trying to add an external user so that we can also check and see. Okay. So let's check. We have interview center. Interview center. So can you see? So when it asks for a room, we have different rooms that are available. We have interview center available, interview room available. So if this room is being booked before now, and for this exact time we have on my screen, what you'll be seeing here is unavailable. So what we are going to do is, so we are booking this for 11 a.m., 11:30, and let me click on interview center. So we booked for 11 a.m. to 11:30. So once I send, so that room is available. So however, let me create a meeting invite for the same room. I'm just trying to tell you how it works so that it will clear our doubt. You understand? So let me see, new event. Let me see if I can book 11 a.m. So can you see that it's already showing red? Well, let's just proceed. So because this meeting has not started, see, you and two others is now available for this meeting. That is for the invite. So it's still showing up interview center. So let me create this and then send. So by the time this meeting starts, let's assume someone else want to book for this meeting, it's going to show as not available. Do you guys understand? Not available. So that is how that is how room resource and equipment resource function. So it allows you to manage availability of your rooms, conference room, auditorium, board meeting room. Isaac, you have a question, board meeting room, and all of that. So that allows you to seamlessly manage who, so that there won't be some kind of rough or everyone bumping into each other. Oh, I'm in charge of
I
the
have a
room.
question.
Okay. Emeka,
Isaac,
Isaac. Okay.
yes. My question is, why do we need to book a physical room via Teams instead of having the meeting online?
Okay, so there are meetings that, so this is that is a very beautiful question. So meeting online could be everybody being involved. Let's assume that your office is practicing an open floor office, and the mid management, are you with me? The mid management want to have like a strategic meeting. Do you think they want to have that meeting on open floor just because of their online? I think, do I answer your question?
Not clear, please.
Okay. Your office is practicing open floor. Open floor means no secluded area for anybody. If you are a manager, senior manager, general manager, CEO, everybody is on open floor. And they are trying to have like a top tier strategic meeting without the guys on the open floor. And you are sharing a seat with your own manager. Do you think your CEO will want your manager to have that meeting with you guys being around him?
Not at all.
They want to have it in a secluded area. And I'm sure a very big organization always have conference room where they
Yes.
have board meetings.
Uh-huh.
So in that same way, let's say the mid-level management want to have a meeting and they only have one conference room. Let's assume one conference room. And they've scheduled the meeting for a particular time. And the meeting has started. Then the top management, the CEOs, the COOs, they are expecting an external person, like a client, a big client coming with his own team to your organization. Are you following?
Yes.
Will they have a meeting on the open floor with you guys? No.
No.
And they also need to understand if the boardroom or the conference room, whatever name it is
Free or not.
available. Is available
Yes.
for them to make use of, or they have to go to another room. Do you understand? So at the point of scheduling the meeting, mind
Yes.
you, the mid-management are already having their meeting. They will see that when they are scheduling and they want to pick the boardroom, they will be notified that that room is not available as a meeting is currently going on.
Instead of barging into
Instead of
meet those people
bargaining
there.
with your external client. So imagine
Yeah.
bargaining with external client and a meeting is already going on. And because of I'm COO or CEO, automatically the mid management level guys will leave the meeting. How will it look to your client? Do you understand the importance of
Yes.
booking rooms ahead, knowing the availability of rooms?
Yes. Yes.
I think that is the best scenario that covers
It's
this.
it's very clear, and it has happened.
Exactly.
We have seen.
So this is
I've
the
been in
advantage.
such situation times.
So in fact, it could even affect the morale of the mid-level management people. Maybe what idea they are coming on with take the company to the next. So then imagine being, everybody have ego, regardless of the role you play. Imagine somebody higher than you coming to the meeting and telling you to excuse the room.
Yes,
And
yes, I've seen that. It has happened
that
to
can
me.
be avoided if the management have reserved the room ahead of the external client coming in with their team. You understand?
Yes, it's
So
clear now.
that clarify.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Emeka, any question? Emeka, your hand should be paining you at this point because your hands have been up since. Thank you. So we covered resources. Same thing applies to just the same way I want to go out, like I use the story or the situation of event planner, and I just have 3 cameras and we have like 3 events. So depending on the packages of those events, I can assign equipment. You understand? My videographer, maybe someone like a particular, for instance, maybe someone prefer a Panasonic video camera to Sony. So his job is to quickly go to his meeting and book the equipment ahead of time before somebody else book it. And whoever is managing those equipment will inform the other person that, oh, this has been booked. These are the available equipment for you to make use of. So thank you guys. Let's go to contacts. So this is pretty much straightforward. This is where you come to add external contacts. External contacts. So there's what we call guest users. You can add if you want users to be part of your organization, but you do not want to assign them their own individual user information. You can come here and add contacts. You can add contact people outside the organization that you would like everyone to be able to find. So once you add this contact, by the time anyone in your organization is searching for them, so this is a good example for this is when you're adding vendors. Vendors have their address. You don't want to, and you want most of, okay, let me give you a good scenario. I like using scenario based analogy. So for instance, you are like an ISP, but you sell internet, or let's say you sell data, and your vendors are MTN, Airtel, Etisalat, Nine Mobile, whatever, maybe Starlink. You have account officers, and in situations whereby one is down and is going to affect the service you provide to your customers, and you want anyone in your organization to be able to find this contact, you add them to your organization. So once they go, let me go to my Outlook. Let me show you. I'm going to look for Adiola Raji. Adiola Raji. Excuse me. So once I go to people, contact list, go to directory, global address list, search. Those are the meeting invite I created. So Adiola Raji. So it's not showing up for me. GKK. It should be so this should be showing. Don't know why it's not showing. So this is a mail contact. So these are contacts for. So you have a mail contact. The difference between a mail contact and a guest mail user. A guest mail user is someone that is email and access can still access your company resources. Mail contact is an email that you consider to be a safe sender or someone your organization can always send email. Please know the difference. So that is why you will see some organization we ask you, we add your information, but you will still be retaining your email address. So you should understand the difference between guest mail user. These are guest users that can have access to your company resources, but mail contact are just email address that are added to the organization. So this should be emails you should be able to send email to, and they should be able to receive it. So if you look at all of these, they are under contact, and if I check my user, see, let me go to identity. I should be able to find this contact in there under guest. So guys, you need to be able to navigate through all of this. There are kind of there are some things you should be able to do in Azure. This is what we call Entra ID that you can also do in M365 admin portal. And there are some things you should be able to from M365 admin portal that you can carry out in your Exchange admin portal. Same applies to security and compliance. So we'll get there. So I should be able to see guests here. So can you see what I'm talking about? Yes. So this is Adiola Raji. However, so you can see our email address, but it will have an extension of your domain. So this account you can give access to this account to access your organization resource. This user can be added to groups if you want. You can add this user to groups. You can monitor the users' information. You can also assign license to these users, but this user will only be a guest user. You guys understand? This user will only be a guest user. So that is where you can only have that is different between guest mail user and contact user. Contact is just contact on your list, like just by adding contact on your WhatsApp. You understand? But guests can have access to your organization resource. That is why I have to show you this so that you understand the difference. The differences between a guest user and a guest mail user and a guest contact. So both are guests, but one can be given access to your company resources, license, be added to groups, and can log in to portal.office.com using their own email address. Guys, are you following?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yes, yes. As that is why I have to show you here. So I can definitely add Adiola Raji, who is using Altmail, to groups. Let me see. If I click on add memberships, you see the list of group I can add Adiola Raji to as guest user. All groups. So I have to give you a scenario base so that you can easily understand what I am discussing. I don't like, if you notice, I'm not using an article, I'm using my experience on the job to explain. Using an article is easy, but you need to be able to have a feel of what I am discussing and what I am talking about. That will be easier for you to understand. Are you guys following?
Yes.
Okay, so you can
Yes,
see,
sir.
Yes.
you
Very,
can
you're
you
following
can
very
add
well.
them,
Thanks.
yeah. So you can add them to all of these groups and all of that. So the difference is what Adiola Raji will be doing is going to portal.office.com and then logging in with their Hotmail. If you assign license, they will have access to those licenses and all of that. If you assign them to a group, they will have access to the group. They will be able to send email to those groups. They will be able to read communication if you add them to M365 group and all of that. Do you understand? But the difference is they do not have these M365. For instance, if you see my account, michael.ngboyan at tech, blah, 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 them they will only be accessing the resources with their own personal email. Thank you. Let's continue. Any question regarding contacts? So let me give you one thing you need to understand. When you are migrating, is a different conversation. Sometimes your Exchange server mailbox during migration shows up as a contact, a mail contact. Then there's some magic you have to do via PowerShell to convert it to a user mailbox. So you have to check. There's what we call so in a situation whereby you are trying to migrate and your mailbox is showing as a mail contact, then you need to make some changes. You check the attribute, correct them, and then it will show up as user mailbox. So I'm just telling you, if you are working as an IT person in an hybrid, a company that will run on hybrid. Hybrid means they are both on-prem and they are both in cloud. Maybe they are just integrating into cloud and they are doing it batch by batch, department by department. You understand? So in the process of migrating, some of the Exchange server mailboxes might show up in Exchange Online as contacts. So you need to fix that. So I want you guys to read up more on that, on how to fix during migration, how to fix mailboxes that shows up as mail contact in Exchange Online. It will be very interesting if you read it up. Sometimes these are the questions you might be asked in interview, because in Nigeria, it will be shocking to you that we still have a lot of organization still using Exchange server. Some of them also have so if they are using Exchange server, they are still using what we call Active Directory. So I don't know if you guys have discussed something relating to that. So you understand, you need to just understand how that works also. So thank you. We are done with recipients. We have discussed different type of recipients. So we will move into Mayflow. So the whole function of creating recipients is for communication. Recipient for communication. Recipient for communication. Managing that communication and understanding how it works, how it is being done, is known as Mayflow. The reason why you create a shared mailbox is to receive emails. The reason why you create a user account is to receive emails. Even some invites are sent via email. Most invites are sent via Outlook emails. So those are considered mails, like the email you send, the communication, all of them, as long as it's going from one end to the other and it goes through Outlook and all of that exchange. Mayflow, movement of emails. That is the best way I can explain that. Movement of emails. That is known as Mayflow. So now this is where you manage emails. You try to understand why you cannot, if a user say, I'm trying to send emails outside our organization and I'm getting NDR, I'm getting bounce back. How can you as a tech person understand this? Is for you to be able to understand what happened to that email. So trace allows us to understand, why is the sender not receiving, or why is the sender not sending? Why is the recipient not receiving? Most times, please, as a tech person, most times, not all emails the sender send is the sender fault. Sometimes sometimes you won't be able to control why the recipient is not receiving, and most of the time you should be able to control it. And I'll do a message trade just for all the emails that we've sent so far. Let me just see this, if there's any email that has been sent this morning. Let me see and I'll explain. Okay, so can you see this? When I did a Mayflow, remember I did not send any email. I just created a meeting invite. I created a meeting invite and I booked a room. So if you see this, you see interview center, the room I booked, the interview center sent an email to me. And then if I check the reason why it declined. So can you see here it says decline technical audio. So somebody declined. So I should be able to it's sending me a decline email. So these are the major parts you understand in message trace. So the first part is you understand who the sender is and who the recipient is. If you try to send email and it goes from this side to process, the process part is M365. However, this is internal. This is internal. So what I'll do is I'll send an email from, let me see, I'll send an email from my Gmail to this account so that we can analyze the message. So there are two ways to analyze messages. Is either you come to a message trace, one, or you get the message details of the email. How can you get message details? Once you come to Outlook and I come to my inbox, so look at the message you are checking in message trace, interview center declined. So this is the reason why blah 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 blah. Look at the it's automatically BCC interview center because we booked the room. This is the message I'm doing a trace on, and this is it in my inbox. So there are two ways you can also analyze our message. You can do a message trace to understand why an email didn't go through or get a full understanding. We can do that by doing what we call getting the message details. To get the message details, you need to double click on this for it to open in another tab. And then let me see if I can get the message details of this. It should be somewhere around here. Message details. So if it's not yet, that means I do not have the message details for. Okay. Okay. So can you see? So this message details, it will tell you the mail flow. The mail flow. So once I copy this, we have a way that we can do we can analyze this message details, that it will tell you how the message flow from the sender to the recipient. And there are major characters of that you need to understand, which might likely determine why a message did not deliver, or why a message go into your junk, or why a message go into a deleted folder, and all of that. So these are the details you need to understand as an exchange administrator or IT support technician, understanding mail flow and all of that. So this is one way. Or you come to your admin portal. What you see here is also the same thing as what I am showing you here. Let's see. Sorry. It's also the same thing as what I'm showing you here. I don't know why the tab is not coming up again. So everything is the same. You can either do a message trace on your admin portal. It will allow you to know how the message got delivered, how many minutes, in a minute, in seconds. Sometimes there are scenarios where users will tell you, I tried sending an email to Mr. B, and Mr. B did not get the email until after 1 hour. So you have to come and do a message trace. Guys, hope you are following. I don't want you to be confused. This feature is for you to understand how your message travels from person A to person B. If person B did not get the message from person A, message trace will allow you to understand what happened. Also, Luca, you have a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you ask a question, please? I don't want you guys to be
Okay.
confused, so that is why I'm taking my time to explain. And I'm showing you different ways you can do this, but ask the questions.
Right. Thank you very much for this very topic you are handling right now, because currently I am faced with a similar task right now in my job, where a mail sent from the organization's email to any Gmail, any email that is any Gmail does not go through. The response you get is rejected.
Five.
mx.google.com rejected your message to the following email. They will give the email, then your message wasn't delivered because the recipient's email provider rejected it.
Okay. So if
So
you
I
check,
am,
look at that is a lovely one. If you check that rejection email, it's what we call NDR, non-deliverable reports. So in that MDR, there is a code that should be there. Is either you have 550, 5.5, blah, blah, blah. That code, when you pick it it will give you a full understanding why Gmail is rejecting local your organization email. And I will give you this one, free consultation. So look at, there are 2 ways you can confirm why Gmail is rejecting your email, and it might take a lot of look at, can you unmute please so that everyone can learn. It will take you a lot. It will take you 2 things. Number 1, I'll ask you 2 questions. At any point, do you guys send bulk emails? Luca, can you hear me? You need to confirm if you guys send bulk emails. So if you are sending bulk emails, are you sending bulk emails within the acceptable, within the accepted conditions? You know, M365 have a condition of the maximum of emails you can send in a minute, the maximum of emails you can send in 24 hours, the maximum of emails you can send in 1 day. So if you guys are using M365 in your organization, you need to determine that. You need to determine if your domain has been blacklisted. So any spam house that has blacklisted your domain, you need to go in there to go and make your case and ensure that your domain is being whitelisted. One of the better way to also do this, does your organization have DMARC set up for you to DMARC, and DKIM allows you to be recognized as legitimate sender. Also, if you guys have a static IP in your organization that is being used, so if you check your SPF and there's a static IP in what we call SPF records in there, you need to pick the IP, go to MXToolBox. Okay, let me show you this. There's a tool we use. So though Microsoft also have an in-house tool we use to check all of this, but a publicly available tool is MXToolBox.com. Here you can check domain, you can check blacklist, IP or domain. If we let's do this. Let me take techtired.microsoft.com. So guys, techtired. We're already doing a message trace now. So guys, please follow Microsoft.com. See, these are recognized spam. You can see it is okay. So any email I send from So any email I send. Why am I hearing myself? Okay, any email I send from this domain is likely going to deliver to any email address, except the organization does not accept external email. So Luca, can you give me your organization domain name? Can you unmute? Luca, let's do this quickly. Can you unmute? Give me your organization domain name.
Impact Point. Point.
Is that correct? Should I zoom in? Is that correct? Impact Point.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm typing what you are saying.
Impactpoint.com.
Is this correct? Can you see my screen? Are you even looking at my screen, Luca?
Yes, they can actually hear you. I want to believe it's correct. Is that okay?
It's breaking. The line is breaking. I can't hear you clearly.
Maybe you should just type it in the chat then. Please
can you
just
type your domain
type
name
in the chat.
We are already doing a real life scenario. This is message trace. when you are trying to analyze a message that is not being delivered or getting blocked or going to spam. Sometimes you have to be on top of this. Now we have various tools that are being integrated. Nigeria is still behind. Sorry to say that. In my organization, we have three tools that filter emails coming to that organization. And you can do your research on it. We have what we call Untrace. Let me type that. We have what we call Iron Scale. We have what we call CISSP. And we have what we call Augment. Basically, if you understand how to use any of these two, you can be a cybersecurity engineer, whatever they call it. Okay, import points. So now if you check, you can see a lot. I think someone in your organization is working on this, because the amount of blacklists that show up, response time, so none as blacklisted. So let me check your SPF records. So you can come here, check DNS check for impact point. One of the major one you should know of as Microsoft person is Spamhaus. Microsoft owns Spamhaus. So no, sorry, Spamhaus Zen, ZEN. So they owns this, so they purchase this. Anytime you have issue and you are using M365, just with support to Microsoft, they will help you look into this. So can you see on your DNS there's an IP. Another thing you might need to check, so you can copy this. This is your name server. Let me check your SPF record. Let me see if there's an IP there. Okay. So can you see, guys, remember when I was discussing and telling Luca that they might need to check their DMARC if they have DMARC. So they do not have DMARC, but they have SPF. So you can see they do not have DMARC and DKIM. I don't know if they are using M365, but I'm suspecting they are using a different vendor. And you can see this condition is also not good enough. So let me check this IP. Sometimes this IP might have been flagged. Your NS, your name server. NS means name server. So you can check a whole lot of details. Okay, the IP is good. The IP is also good for your name server. So what the only solution here is you can raise a ticket to Google. Raise a ticket to Google, maybe try to reach them with a Gmail and understand why it is being blocked. But basically, you check all of these, you do a test with Hotmail. Luca, can you guys send an email to Hotmail or Outlook.com? I think you can't hear me. So guys, this is a tool where you can use to do a lot of checks. You can use this to do a lot of checks when it comes to message trace. When you are trying to confirm if a vendor is a bad actor, what we consider bad actor in is people that are trying to send phishing, spam emails, and all of that. So let's go back to, we are already going far away from Exchange. So this allow you to message trace, allow you to do a trace and understand what happened. So here, for instance, we do not have any issue with all this delivered email. For this, look at a good one. This email was quarantined. If I check this for us to know why it got quarantined, this is where you understand why. See, not delivered, quarantined, and it was marked as a spam sender. So spam confidence level is 5. So we also need to understand this is also a different conversation entirely. So you need to understand spam confidence level. So this is not being sent from our organization. So our own job as the technical person is to understand why it went to spam and look at their transport rule in place. And when we check the body of the email, you will see that the spam confidence level is 5. We have different type of um, SCL level. See, Microsoft Learn. So guys, apart from the brief fundamentals we are giving, there are a lot for you to learn. So you might need to understand different spam confidence level. It will allow you to understand the message you're analyzing, why it goes into quarantine. For instance, the reason why it goes into quarantine because the message was filtered as spam. And it is coming from 2 conditions. It's an external email and it is being filtered as spam. So if in situation, it is your job to tell the user that are you expecting email from so person? If it says no, if it's a generic email, if it's a marketing email, you can just ignore or you can just release to junk. So that is your role as an administrator. So you need to understand different spam confidence level. So and that for I mentioned that determines where the email will be delivered, quarantine or junk and all of that. So for your organization, if you are employed, you must ensure that how can you avoid your messages being marked as spam. Number 1, publish your DKIM records. Number 2, publish your DMARC records. It's like a filtering service, an authenticating and filtering service that ensure that your organization is not being marked or being blocked or being marked as a spam sender. And also, it is also important that it is beyond this. You need to also ensure that you are not sending market. That is why their organization, for instance, Dangote that I know of, whenever they want to send marketing emails, they use the marketing vendors to do that. So that it won't affect the reputation, the mailbox reputation of their organization. So Dangote will not want anyone to flag them as a spam sender because they deal with external clients. They receive emails from external people. They receive email for external people, and it is quite important. So guys, please, there is more to this. There is more to this. What I am explaining is just for you to have fundamentals. So imagine we have touched 2 things based on Luca question. We have touched filtering service. We have touched message details. We have tried to analyze the possible reason. I will have gone deeper if Luca can share with me maybe the NDL they are getting whenever they send to Gmail. It is your function. It is part of your role as an IT person, an M365 administrator, for you to understand why your organization can't send to Gmail. Gmail is a public, so if Gmail is blocking you from sending to every random users, then you need to do a deep dive into this. And the only way you can do a deep dive into this is to understand the NDL. NDL is called non-deliverable report. For every message that is not delivered, you get a non-deliverable report. The report is to give you reasons why that message did not deliver. Guys, are you with me? Hope I'm not taking you too far. Hope we are not going too deep. Hope you are not confused. Because I see everybody's quiet. It was not like last week. We are going deeper now.
No. We are not confused, sir. We are following. It just that
Okay.
it's deeper actually, but we are good. Thank you so much.
We are
No,
with
so
you, sir.
Me in particular, I don't want to talk about my background here is like a bit noisy. That's why I don't want
okay.
to unmute and talk actually. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. So also part of the character we need to understand in analyzing why a message did not deliver, there's what we call BCL. BCL. Guys, please, I will appreciate if you open your Microsoft Learning account. You see, Luca, you guys are owing me money. I just solved your problem. I mentioned it before you shared this, and I don't know why I'm happy. I just solved your problem. Guys, you will remember very well that I said their SPF records is having add fail. Now, if we check the screenshot is shared, let me go to in PowerPoint. Look, you guys are owing me. Oh, please, you are owing me. Just tell your whoever your IT person is, you are owing me. So let me go to SPF again. So remember I said this, that this is the issue. Add fail. I don't know why whoever is putting this on your record. So you need to change this. This is the problem. The add fail is the problem. So that is why you see the mail, if you check the NDR, the mail, it says the mail from domain, your domain has an SPF record with a add fail. But it fails to pass SPF check with the IP. So you guys are using the IP that is here is an IPv6. So don't get it wrong. IPv6. I don't know why you are using IPv6 to send out emails. You might need to check. You guys might need to check that. Because these have a character. Let me tell you why you shouldn't be using IPv6. But that currently, last 2 weeks, most of the hack attempt that we had in our organization, they were trying to hack the user from a data center server, and data center server uses IPv6. So I don't know if we have an IP converter, but in my office, we do. It's not a Nigerian company, sorry. We do have an IPv converter, so it helps convert to IP. It helps shed. Sorry, we do have a tool that allows us to analyze IPv6, that it will pinpoint the exact location. So that is why we do not just, because with this IPv6, they can even go beyond MFA. So in the best practice, this is, by the way, the best practice now is for you to ensure that you have conditional access policy. So that is another conversation entirely. So I don't want to go into there. So you guys are using IPv6. This is showing, and again, you are now having a hard fail. Imagine having a hard fail, and then you are not meeting SPF checks because of your IPv6 IP. So it's either you guys are sending multiple emails, and you need to check this. So whoever is managing, maybe you are sending emails through your website, you might need to confirm this. Maybe you can ease down your SPF records. You can ease it down a bit. You can remove the hard fail, please, if that will work. Or these IPv6, go and check it if it has been blacklisted or try to rectify that. So that will resolve your issue. So you can go to them with your research and get your recommendation or recognition, which one you guys use in your organization. So that will solve your problem. Do you understand? Let me just post my findings. Just give me a moment. So guys, I think we've already covered. Luca, thank you for asking the question. It helps us cover everything about message trace, even though it's not our organization. But for our organization, it is perfectly okay. We've done a trace on the domain. It's all green, so we should be able to send to Gmail account. Chiku is asking, how secured is the MS2box? The MS2box is not, you are not putting in your information. So the question I will ask you in return is, how secure is Gmail that you sign up for? Is a free tool. Gmail is a free mailbox. So how secure do you think it is? Or is a tool accessible to the public? So MS2box is a tool that allows you to just do some checks, do investigation. Is the API is integrated into a different, it's get information from legit sources. Then that is the best. But for me, I've been using this tool for almost 5 years or 6 years since I started working as a technical support, and it has never failed me. It's just that now, if you want to do a deep dive, that is when you have to log in. That is when you have to pay for to do a deep dive. You understand? But as a smart person, sorry to use the word smart, you just need to use this to get certain information and do your own part. You understand? Hope I'm able to answer your question, Wiki. Sorry, I'm trying to type before I proceed. So that Luca can have what they can look into regarding this.
Michael, today's class, you're on point. And I can assure you, I'll still rewatch the video again.
So guys, so so we also have what we call BCL confidence level. So let me just BCL confidence level. Let me see. I want to open this in Microsoft Learn. Please, guys, I'm repeating this. Please open. Yes, BOC compliant level. Yes. So remember, I was saying earlier that a lot of things determine why your organization is being blacklisted, and one of it is for Microsoft. If you are unable to send email, two things you might need to look. You might need to look at this SCL, spam confidence level. You might need to look at the BOC confidence level. If you are using a particular sender to send a lot of emails and you are not controlling the numbers of emails you are sending, and it's not between the permissible number, you understand, range, you are going to have a problem. So if your BCL level is 0, this user is not a bulk sender. If your BCL level is 1, so okay, we did a message trace earlier. So let me see. Let me minimize this. This one is spam confidence level is 5, and there's one we checked earlier that the BCL is 1. So if you look at this, there are few complaints, but it doesn't it's not enough for your email address to be blocked. It's not enough for your email address to be blocked. But if your BCL is getting to 8, 9, that means a lot of people are immediately they get your email, they are marking it as spam sender. They are marking it, or you have sent that is when they mark your email as spam sender, then you are going to be eating 5. A lot of people are marking your emails as spam sender. You are going to be eating 5. If you are sending too many bulk emails and people are complaining about those emails, then and you fall between 8 to 9, automatically you get blocked. Guys, this is basically what we are looking into in message trace. Message trace allow you to understand why your message is not being delivered or why some messages are coming through. If a bad actor send an email and is containing phishing link and the email get into the inbox, if you do not have tools that flag this automatically, my brother, hopefully the user is not managing any credit card. Sorry to use this word, OT law. So it's left for you to put rules and functions in place to protect your organization. Because in as much many employees or users, layman users, let me use the word, everyday users might understand English, sometimes they might not understand what phishing or spam email is all about. So that is why it is also important as a technical officer for you to do some random phishing email tests in your organization. In fact, if you do it and a lot of people fall victim, then your organization will rather they will increase your money and you get more job and a job security because you can use 1 month. I'm just giving you tips. You can use 1 month to do training. And trust me, there's one user that will still fall victim of a phishing email when you are doing phishing test. Imagine using word like urgent, salary increment. Click the link to receive your new salary update. And it's not coming from HR address, or they've cloned their address and changed something and it looks similar. Because of it has to do with salary, the user quickly click on the link and it downloaded a software or it automatically get the user credentials. Do you guys understand? So this is where you message trace allows you to do all of this. So guys, there are a lot of things to check when it comes to message trace and all of that. So you might need to correct. So now you might need to check your SPF records. SPF records for impact point. It is important. So you have to go to your domain registrar and try to change there. Then try to include the correct strings. If you guys are using a third-party service, include the third-party authorized service. If you are using Microsoft, use the spf.protection.outlook.com, and then whatever IP you want to route your emails through, it is important. Then you can also, once you have done it, you've done this, you can now use the SPF validator to check and understand it's properly propagated. It is important. So those are the solutions to your DNS issue and why Gmail is being flagging it. So is either the server you are routing your emails to is not authorized, ensure it is authorized. So please, that is the solution. So you have to identify the sending service, then you have to propagate the correct SPF value. This should help you. So, okay, let's proceed. Thank you guys. Let me go back to our, you see, we've not been in that portal in a while. So that is all about message trace. It allows you, and also if you want to do the few things you can do here, you can also view in Explorer. You can for instance, this particular one that is quarantined, let me look for it. I can come here and then I don't know if this is a test, so I do not want to do that. So I can come here and then go to view message in Explorer. View message in Explorer, and I can either mark the sender as a spam sender and then report the email, then block the email address from ever sending to the organization. So guys, we spent a lot of time on this already. So let me just quickly show you. So these are the actions you can take if you identify a bad actor. Do you understand? These are the actions you can take if you identify a bad actor. So we can come back to this once this load up. So let's quickly discuss others so that we can cover a lot. I don't want us to be slow. So rules are it is called transport rules, but yeah, rules are if, for instance, you can create a rule and say, I'm just giving you a layman explanation. You can create a rule and say you do not want person A, any message coming from Gmail to Luca, assuming Luca is in our organization, any message coming from Gmail to Luca, blind copy is manager. Blind copy is manager. You can create rules for basically anything. I don't know what is wrong with my internet, why this is taking time. So guys. Okay. So I will just so you can create rules for basically anything. So you can create rules for encryptions, you can create rules for quite a lot of things. So you can see these are default rules that are created already. These are default rules you can create to encrypt. You can use but when a particular words are found in emails, M365 encryption should be applied. That is a function of this. You can create your custom branding to OEMs. So if you want your a particular lettering to show, most times legal organization do this. You can apply disclaimer. There are some organization that you send emails to, so you use transport rules because you can append. It is called append. Append is you draft the email. At the point of email sending out the email, it automatically append its disclaimer to it. So all of these are done in transport rules. So I will encourage you guys. I will encourage you guys to actually do this in your test environment. I do not want us to, because our time is fast spent. So I'm explaining it, and it's this explanation is easy to understand. So if you look at, you can create rules for basically anything. You can create rules for forwarding. Let's create a rule for forwarding. Forwarding. Let me say Michael forwarding. So this is if we are investigating. Some of you, they might be investigating your organization, or maybe your IT person is trying to say, this guy is already giving hint on IT related question. Is my job being threatened? You understand? If they are not company policy in place, you might just create rules for forwarding for you, and say, okay, let me say the sender is internal, or if I pick the sender, it means the sender is internal, and then do the following. You can see forward the message for approval, redirect the message, block the message, apply, notify the recipient, prepare the subject with the message, modify the message security, modify the message properties, and all of that. So I can also change if the sender is outside, save, and then I can add more condition. And see, the sender relationship to the recipient is blah blah. The sender is compared blah blah blah. Can do quite a lot. Manager, direct report. So you can do all of this. Do the following. You can add recipient to it. You can forward the message for approval to this person, to the sender's manager. So if I forward the message, I can add members. So these are rules. And also, mind you, it is beyond this. It is beyond this. Let me give you different scenarios where you can create rules. For instance, you can create, when you are trying to create connectors, you get to that point. Maybe you are using third party or a filtering service. Yes, we have different filtering service. So, and you try to integrate it in your mail system. You do that. If you try to create connectors, maybe you are using hybrid environment, you have to create connectors. Using connectors, you create rules. You create rules for forwarding. You create rules for blocking. You create rules for a lot of things, to block or to forwarding, disclaimer, appending, signature, and all of that. You create rules. So it is important you understand this. Also, when it comes to these rules, they are now, if you want to create DLP related and data loss policy, it has before now, everything is integrated into rules. Now, DLP has been moved to security and compliance portal, what we now call Microsoft Purview. So you create a lot of rules based on, mind you, you also need to be ethical. You can't just go in there and create rules based on organization requirements. Guys, based on organization requirements. Let's go back. So remote domains, I'm sorry, let me explain this with an article. It's 12 already. Microsoft Learn. So if, as you can see, these are many reasons. There are many reasons why you might want to control the type. You can see everything still centered around how you send
Are we sure this
emails.
time is correct? It's like we just use 30 minutes in this class.
So remote domains in Exchange Online. So this is how everything. Remember when I mentioned Mayflow, I said everything is regarding sending from A to B. Conditions centered around it. Rules, policy, everything, tracing is all dealing with Mayflow, and it's also regarding security. You must have security at the back of your mind. So remote domains, if you want to allow, maybe you are working with an organization that you do not want to receive automatic messages from, or for instance, maybe you want them to to send to your users in your organization, you can create a remote domain easily. So these are domains that you can recognize. Let me see. So when a message comes from outside your organization, there are several types of reply. They are automatically generated. Some type of reply are set up by users in Outlook, blah, blah, blah. Those are set up by admin, because the remote domain setting overrides settings. Exactly. It overrides settings configured by users, as well as mail users, as well as mail contact settings configured by admin. You can choose what type of automatic reply are sent to everyone on a remote domain. So if we check this, let me send this article to you guys. So because I don't want to go into this too much. So you guys can read up. It's easy to understand. It's very easy to understand. So by the way, let me give you guys a test. Please create for the rules. Please create a rule and do a test on your end. Nobody's checking, but it will be fun for you. Please create. I didn't. I'm trying not to forget. Create a rule to block attachments. Sometimes you see that you received the emails and the attachment didn't come through. Your organization have a block attachment rule. So please create a rule to block attachment over 25 MB. So that will be fun for you anyway. So the remote allows you to manage out of office messages, automatic reply, automatic forward, delivery report, non-delivery report, meeting forward notification. So these are very important. So, and mind you, the major part is it overrides whatever the user has set up on their end. It overrides whatever the user has set up on their end. So if you check what is here, if you look at the default, so you see default is saying allow only external out of office reply, allow automatic reply. So here you can disable automatic reply. So even when user set this up, Copilot. I hope I answered that. Yes, Copilot is being integrated into admin portal, but it is a paid service, not the free one that we are using. No, so that one is $20. Is a user-based license. Yeah. So Copilot is also integrated into Azure. Copilot is the baby of. I said it in the last class. Copilot is the baby of Microsoft, and trust me, there's no third-party AI tool that can work with Exchange. Microsoft will not allow it. So thank you. So you can see the default one, allow and all of that. So if you have this, if there's a domain you want to manage automatic replies, so whenever you see in an interview, if they ask you what is remote domains feature all about, just at the back of your mind, remote domain automatic replies, management of automatic replies. Second part, it overrides whatever users have set up on their end. Thank you, guys. I need to be fast now. So accepted domains are the domains that have been added to your organization. So you want the domain to function. You want the domain to function on its own. So we have two types of accepted domain: authoritative and internal relay. Authoritative is email is delivered to the email address as listed for recipient. So it is functioning on its own, like it has every permission, everything. But internal relay domain, any email that is being sent, if, as you can see here, recipient for this domain can be in M365 or Office 365 or your own email server. Email is delivered to known recipient, is relayed to your email delivered to no recipient, is relayed to your own email server if the recipient are not known. So once a domain is used as internal relay, how, okay, you know relay race, when you are when you are watching relay race, the major understanding of relay race is if it's going, we have four-man relay race, whatever they call it. There's a button that is being passed. That button, internal relay, if you want, I'm trying to help you understand. So it will take the email and deliver it to a known user. If the address is not known, the recipient not known, it will take the domain, it will take the email and deliver it to maybe a known user in the organization. So that is why, but every email address here, we can't do a repo here. So most times internal relay, good example is when you have like you have a third-party service that you are trying to use to send out to get feedback or send out multiple emails. So this also function. So, but you can't send email from an internal relay domain. So it is only from a authoritative email domain you can send, I believe. So, but for every email, and don't get it wrong, Dangote Group, I'll give you an example. Dangote Group have users with Dangote user email address. They have employees under Dangote Refinery. So if you go to, because I've been opportune to work with them as a contractor from another organization, we're managing their tenants. They have a major tenant, then they have different domains. Those domains are authoritative. They are assigned to each of the groups, each of the institution or the organization under the group, Dangote Group. So we have Dangote Refinery, we have Dangote Sugar, we have Dangote Cement with different employees. All of those domains will be here. So if someone is trying to create a group of companies and he said that, no, I don't want all this. Another example is the owner of Konga. Yes, I've also worked with that. Konga is under the group called Zynos Group. If you guys have heard about Zynos Group. Zynos Group is owned by Leo Stan Ake. He's also the owner of TD Africa. He's also the owner of Tax System. He's also the owner of Zynos Computers. So now we have a tenant which I manage. All of these domains are added. They are authoritative. So I create users based on the company that they are being employed into. So don't just sit at, so this is where you come and ensure that your domain is authoritative, you ensure that it is properly configured and it is accepted. So however, that is where rules come to play. You can create a rules to restrict, okay, this person should not be able to send, but it doesn't matter anyway because they are under the same group and they are like a sister company. They are also mostly in the same building. So I'm just trying to explain for explanation's sake. So this is where you come and add all of this and make them authoritative and ensure that they are allowed to send and to each other and how to send externally. So and this can also be managed on the domain page in your M365. So if I go back to M365, just a quick one, and come to settings, and you see domains, you can find those domains here too. And this is where you add them. So all of this is incomplete setup. All this might not be used to send because you've not fully complete the setup. It is not LD. So any message you send externally from this domain, you get an NDR, maybe being blocked or not delivered, not deliverable report. So you can see LD, and for a domain to be LD, there are records you need to publish. For you to publish records, you need to purchase domain with a domain registrar. Then on the registrar side, you need to publish certain records that Microsoft will give you, except you want to route your emails through third party. I don't want to go too much into that. So in the first class, I mentioned that every of these, you need to understand this for you to understand that. So this is the beginning. Then you understand why those domains are showing. If you can see, the other some domains that are showing incomplete and not showing under accepted domain because they are not fully set up. So you see that the domain DNS records are fully published, and they are, if I go to MXToolBox, I'll see all of these records. All of these records. I'm going to see all of this. The DKIM is published. Then if I go online, I should be able to see everything here. So you can see status check, and I can even go as far as checking the name server. The name server is where the domain is being hosted. So in some situation, and however, if the name server is Microsoft, I can manage the DNS also from here. So that is when you are trying to add your own personal domain to your tenant. So you need to understand this. So let's quickly go back. I do not want to take much time. I think I've discussed connectors. You have different type of connectors, Office 365 connectors to your organization email server. I've discussed a lot of things if you are using a third-party mail server. So I'll give you an example of third-party email server. On the top of my head, we have what we call Barracuda. We have what we call sometimes Barracuda. If you guys have done web design, those web design that you integrate mail into it, you understand this better. So Barracuda is also a third party. We have what we call Inky. We have what we call Inky. I'm trying to remember a few. So that we have one we call soft something. So I've forgotten. Soft blah 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 blah. So you can integrate. You can add connectors. So this is the function of connectors. Simple thing. Connectors. So if you don't want to route your emails through Microsoft, maybe you are using a paid third-party service where you want to route your emails to, so that it will do a lot of filtering before it comes to your user or before your user send it out. You understand? So, for instance, you create a connector between Office 365 and your organization mail server. There are some things you are going to do. So if I click on next, we do not have what we to do a text with. You turn it on, and then if I create a name, let's say Barracuda, we are not going to do this, just trying to show you what you'll be doing. So for emails sent to all accepted domains, you can see for email, you do email sent to all accepted domain. So you also do emails sent to this domain. So it will filter to and fro. So then you click on next. Then can you see it's asking for the email address of the host. So is either you use IP. Remember, I'll go back to Luca, where IPv6. If you are using an email server, you need to come and check the IP and ensure that it is not blacklisted. So look at this is for you. This you might need to check this if you are using M365, but I'm not sure you are using M365. So you might need to check if you are routing your email through a third-party server service. So you input this. So once you input this, you go to next and you do blah blah blah. So every email, then if you want to test that this is working, this is where we go back to message trace again. Once you send your email, you go and pick and do the trace and see if it's going through that server. So that is when you know it is functioning. Maybe the function of the service is to ensure that no spam or phishing link are being sent and all of that. So it will properly manage all of those information. Do you guys understand? So you can also for if you are running an hybrid situation, you also do Office 365 to your organization server, email server. That is if you are running hybrid and you are running emails through your Exchange server. So this is what you are going to do. And there are some situations whereby you create connection from your Office 365 to partner organization. Maybe you and a partner, you guys are collaborating and you want to be able to allow users to be able to send vice versa seamlessly. You can create connectors and put routing and all of those in place. That is the functions of connectors. Relationship, how you want to route through different services. You have to, once connector come to your mind, you should always remember routing, connector routing, connector routing, remote domains management, remote domain automatic replies management. So guys, let us finish this. Then the last class we will take the rest. These are the major part that see I email, volume email. This is a new feature anyway. So if you want to send, you cannot 100 I volume blah blah blah. This is a new feature anyway when you want to send bulk emails and all of that. So majorly organization do not do this. So, but you can want to read up more on it. You can see that, like I said, is a new feature. It is still in preview state. So anything you see in your admin portal that is still in preview state is either is a new feature, or there's yet to be a full release on that feature. So that is why we won't be going into it so much. Alert, just like the way you manage the alert on your phone, you can come here and check for any alert that has been shared, depending on number of days, export it, understand the severity and all of that, then understand the occurrence. So we do not have any alert that we can check here. I try to filter to 90 days, 0 item. Let me see, new filter value. So there's nothing. So we can check. So alert policy, you can create policies for your alert, maybe NDR, domain loops, new users forwarding emails, when when slow mayflow, delay, rejected, and all of that. So for instance, messages being delayed, if you see when Office 365 can deliver a message to your on-prem or partner servers, so you can confirm this alert will be triggered. So guys, please create alert and try to see how it works. So, and it will notify admins. So these are, so type connector based messages queue. So this is if you have a connector, and the connector, like I say, if you are routing through your mail server and Office 365 can send, that is a major issue that we get. Office 365 can send to the on-prem users. Is also is a major issue in hybrid, but the world that is facing out, everybody is now cloud based, moving into cloud and want seamless way of managing their portal. Roles, these are simple. We'll get into this. All these are straightforward, and we can take that in the last class. Any question? I hope I'm not taking much of your time. It's just that I need to ensure that you guys are looking into this and then are understanding. Guys, these are just fundamentals. It is important you do more research, more learning, more reading, but it's an interesting feature. Exchange is an important part of M365. Trust me, because what is the essence of buying license when you cannot send emails? But the more you understand how all of these features work, there are different questions. You might go into an interview and they ask you, imagine we didn't venture into discussing SCL, and they ask you, what is SCL? Okay, what SCL level must you have before being flagged as spam sender? So that is the beautiful thing of attending classes like this. So thank you guys. Please, can you ask your question quickly? I need to take questions and then we call it a day. I hope I didn't bore you with my long talk and explanation. So guys, just 1 or 2 persons, if you have questions, just raise up your hand and let's know. I guess no question. Thank you guys. Thank you,
Yeah.
Afia. Thank you so much.
Thank Yes, thank you
Thank
so
you, sir.
much for the wonderful session. Well explanatory. So I don't think, does anyone have any question? There's no question in the chat box. Okay, I think someone is asking, is there any AI agent tool that you know that has been created to provide support for exchange online? Okay, I think you answered the question during the class, right? I don't think you heard that. Okay, so if you're asking if there's any AI agent tool that has been created to provide support for exchange online, I am not sure there's one, but you might want to create one for us, Cephas. So I think that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you all for joining. The class recording link will be shared on WhatsApp in the WhatsApp group. And if you you already answered the question. Thank you. So do enjoy the rest of your day. See you in the next class on Thursday, same time, 10 a.m., same meeting link. Have a great day, guys.
And you too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Bye.
Bye bye. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very much welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.